Okay, folks, we're gonna start our meeting.
It
It is Wednesday, sir, in the back room, please, one conversation at a time.
Tim.
Okay, we're gonna start, it's June 25th, 6 p.m. Fire Station. I will call the meeting to order. If anybody other than the Public Safety Commission is recording the meeting, please let me know now. Anybody out in the audience recording? Nobody seems to be online, so I don't think anybody's recording. So we'll move right along. I will take a roll call. David Lanoy.
Here.
Dave Moscaratola is here. Ed Jarvis is not. Gary Braff
It's here.
Maria Burridge.
Present.
Kelly Dixon.
Present.
Okay, we have a quorum. Excellent. Thank you, commissioners. We'll move on to approve minutes. We have April minutes. Everybody but Commissioner Braff can approve those. Do I have a motion to approve minutes? Second? Okay, any questions with April minutes? All right, all in favor? Aye. Great. We'll move on to May meeting minutes. We can all approve those. Can I have a motion? Second?
Second.
Great. Any questions on May? All right, all in favor? Aye. Great, all approved. Excellent. We're gonna whip through this meeting. Public comments. Anybody in the audience would like to come up and speak? Public comments? Anybody online would like to speak? There's nobody online to move past public comments. That is excellent. I will invite AMR up for their monthly updates. And when you're up here, please, everyone who comes up, introduce yourself for the Zoom folks that will watch the meeting 3 weeks from now. Do we have a cat in the office? Sorry.
Thanks.
I invited cats last week.
I do not have a cat.
Okay, that's fine. Welcome.
Good evening and thank you for having us.
Yes.
My name is Patrick Lehner. I'm the Regional Director for AMR here in Massachusetts.
And I'm Marco Prod, one of the paramedic field supervisors.
Thank you for coming.
I do have a May report to share with you.
Great. Thank you.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah, we'll share. No problem. We like each other.
Will you miss me? No.
He doesn't have.
You don't have enough?
No, we're
We're gonna
I
share.
have it all up here.
Oh, perfect.
I say we could share.
That's why he's the big guy in charge.
So for the month of May, our numbers continue to be stable compared to previous months when it comes to emergent and non-emergent. There was a small drop off in non-emergent and BLS, but we saw a little increase in the ALS mix to that volume for 911 in the city of Greenfield. The number of calls completed compared to the number of calls that we used Greenfield Fire for remained stable also, with them receiving just under 80 calls for the month, which were accomplished without any issues. We also have a good mix of EMD calls that are Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Echo, showing the acuity of the calls. We have a breakdown by the day of the week to show the busiest days versus the lowest acuity days when it comes to volume. And I also have a breakdown to show you on the last page for on-time performance, where the blocks of calls fall in for response times from like 0 to 4 minutes and 4 to 7 minutes and so on, showing the bulk of it happens all within under 7 minutes. If you have any questions regarding the May report, I'm more than happy to take any questions.
Any questions from commissioners? Yeah, that's a good breakdown, days of the week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sunday is actually surprisingly the second busiest day.
I have one quick question.
Yes.
And maybe you said this, I was trying to write notes, determinants on the last page, level A, B, C, D. What are those? You
So
explain
when
those a little
a
more.
caller calls 911 into the PSAP, it gets transferred down to our communication center. A call taker answers the phone and they go through a set of questions that is pre-programmed by the state and the medical director. And then we ask questions for pre-arrival so that we can give medical instruction to the caller prior to the arrival of either fire, police, or EMS. And based on how they answer those questions, the level of acuity is determined. So Alpha has been the lowest, which might be, let's say, a knee pain, right? And as you get up into Charlie Delta, the Charlie Deltas are your chest pains, you're unresponsive, you're not breathing, or your cardiac arrest. So your Delta and your echoes are your highest acuity. So you'll see the least amount of them. And if the system is working adequately, if you look on your on-time performance area, your Alpha Bravos should have the longest response time because they just go with the flow of traffic. There's no lights and sirens involved. And your higher acuity, which is your Charlie Delta Echo, should have the least amount of response time because they're going lights and sirens to the call, safely navigating through traffic and intersections. Yeah, absolutely. Without any further questions of that, I do want to share, we have a packet with a proposal review of our services for the past 5 years. Some of you may be very familiar with the contents of the packet and what we do and what we're looking to do. And then we have new members here, so hopefully this will help you go over who AMR is, what our relationship here in the city of Greenfield is like for public-private deployment of services to the citizens here and the level of care that they do receive. It does break down who we are, who you guys are, what your needs are, how we meet those needs, and how we're looking to collaborate in the future going forward with emergent medical services here in the town of Greenfield.
Great, excellent package. So for the public safety commissioners, at some point, we will be giving a positive recommendation to an emergency services company. Most likely next week, next month. So this would be a great package to read up on and get yourself familiar with it if you're not. So we really appreciate these.
Yeah, and in the meantime, if there's any questions or anything that you'd like additional feedback on or additional information on, we're more than happy to provide that.
Excellent. Question, what's the term called for the floating car with a paramedic again?
It's the fly car,
The flag?
fly
Car, okay, gotcha.
or intercept unit.
So we just started that last month?
We've just started to implement it in, correct, yep. And Mark's working on a schedule that's going to roll the fly car into a position for high demand timeframes.
So will it be just hanging out in Greenfield?
It's 100% dedicated to the town of Greenfield, yes.
All right, that's great. So
it's a Friday, Sunday card.
Yeah.
it'll be good to see how that goes. Keep us updated on that.
So in terms of the staff, it's a great benefit for them because as a paramedic, they are really focused on honing their skills on those high acuity calls. So if you're on a fly car versus an ambulance, the fly car, which is most like an expedition, only goes to high acuity calls. So they'd only be getting dispatched to those Delta Echo calls. Mm-hmm. So you're not essentially sending a paramedic to a knee pain or ankle pain. So you're saving that extra paramedic. You have them available for when true paramedic ALS service is needed locally or mutually, depending on how we agree to that.
Excellent. Yeah, we look forward to seeing how that works out. Great. Any other questions from commissioners? Comments? All right, well, we thank you for all the information and the updates. All right. We look forward to working with you until next month in the contract.
Well, thank you.
Thanks. Welcome, Mayor.
Hi. Hi.
All right, I'd like to ask the fire department to come on up. You haven't earned second place yet.
Save the best for last, I think.
Sorry.
This is the long part of the program. Hey, guy that's got the book. Get your popcorn out.
There's so many of you that I just figured, like, I'd let them go first. Just introduce yourself to the Zoom folks. We know who you are.
Bob Strand, Fire Chief, Emergency Management. Peter McIver, Deputy Fire Chief.
Welcome.
So we don't have a report. We've been awfully busy. I have some sad news to report. One of our captains was taken ill a week ago and was sent to several hospitals for some testing, and it looks like he's going to be out for a while with very long-term devastating illness. So our thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family. As you can imagine, losing one of the senior leaders within the department has kind of thrown us for a little bit of a loop. We don't have a return date that's going to be anytime soon. So we're looking at adjusting and making plans, and budgets are already tight. And this is going to have a pretty dramatic impact on our operating budget going into next year. I met with the collective bargaining unit today, the deputy and I, with the senior leadership of the collective bargaining unit to discuss some strategies and develop a plan of action as we go forward. I hope to, within a week or so, have something on paper that explains where we are, where we're going to be, the cost associated with what the ramifications of this is going to mean, and some other ideas of how we handle this going forward. At the end of August, we have, the end of July, so about a month away, 3 of our firefighters will be going to the fire academy for 10 weeks for recruit program. That, in addition to the captain that's out and the 2 other firefighters that are on long-term injury, we are going to be down about 25% of our staff for about 10 weeks. So we are trying to figure out what the impact is going to be and try to work through it. The firefighters have all reassured me that they stand ready for the challenge that's going to be for 3 months that we're going to have. So more to come on it. But I hope you'll all keep them in your thoughts and your prayers. And he is coming home tonight, and we are having we will be greeting him out of his house when he gets home. So that's going to be about 8 o'clock. Okay. So you all are welcome. Yeah. So with that, there's a lot of other stuff going on with the fire department. So I'll try to keep it all straight. As you know, we received the donation about a year and a half ago from a private citizen in town that donated $50,000 to help with memorial here on the grounds. We bought the statue's in. I think most of you, some of you, if not most of you, have seen it. The family came back a couple weeks ago and donated an additional $50,000 to finish the project. So we're very thrilled with that, and more to come on that as we go forward. One of the initiatives that one of my captains, Captain Cooley, has taken on is for the last, I don't know, about 6 or 8 months, we have a retirement, it started out as breakfast, and now it's a lunch. First Friday of the month, the firehouse is filled with not only all active firefighters, but a bunch of retired firefighters, where everybody can come in and meet and greet each other and hear the war stories. And it's been very highly successful. I'm very proud of Captain Cooley for putting that together. It's been a good project, bringing everybody back to their new home. So,
Fantastic.
yeah. You have anything you want to talk about? I will talk about it and pass it on to you. Deputy MacGyver. One of the projects that we had was our aging infrastructure for radio box alarms. That is most buildings in town, when the fire alarm goes off, it goes through our radio box system, which goes right to our dispatchers, and our dispatchers see it on the screen. That had to be replaced and had to be updated. And Deputy MacGyver took that on. He has spent countless hours on it, and it's up and running, and I'll pass it over to him so he can give you a little bit more information about that.
Sure. So as the chief spoke about, the system was designed about 15 years ago as a project that the county took on to monitor the radio sites. We became the primary user of the system. We've hosted some equipment here that receives the signals. The vendor that wrote the software decided not to maintain it anymore. We were faced with finding another solution or discontinuing the service. We partnered with the agency that actually makes the boxes themselves that transmit the signal. They wrote some software, they got it licensed, got it approved by NFPA. And we partnered with the FERCog they purchased the license to the software. We're maintaining the server for it. So we've worked close with IT to make it all come together. And between Greenfield Dispatch, Shelburne Control, Turner's Fire, the Greenfield Water Department, and Greenfield Fire, all of those agencies are now online. So there are some bugs that we're working out that I'm sure Cindy's smirking about, but
He's doing a good job.
we're working through it. Nothing that wasn't totally unexpected.
So hardware wise, what is that out in the field?
Well, right now it works great that it's mostly cloud-based. So the servers are hosted locally in town. There's one here and there's another backup to that at City Hall. So if either site goes down, one will still process. There is receive hardware that's on Great Hill, which is the radio tower behind us as you're going up Route 2. And there's a antenna here that also receives signals. So there's duplicate links up on Shelburne Mountain, and then there's a tertiary link here. So they kind of work on a little mesh network. They'll repeat through each other, and the signal comes back to here, gets decoded into software, and then the dispatchers send that info out to whatever agency.
So just linking it all together.
Mhm.
Process behind it.
Yeah, it works over a radio network.
Yeah.
That's licensed to the FERCog.
Excellent. Any other updates?
Yeah, the two other things. One thing that you asked me to talk about briefly was an update on the electrical use in the building. Our energy department has been taking a pretty strong and active role on trying to work with ways to determine what exactly is happening with the power in the building, whether it was a design issue, whether it's a user issue, whether it's an install issue. They've had several meetings with contractors. They also had several meetings and I believe a walkthrough with Eversource, and they're still doing the evaluation. From everything that initially has been said, my understanding is that everything is operating as designed. So we are still looking at whether it was a miscalculation in the beginning or a mixture of a mix of everything. And there's more information that will be coming as soon as the reports start filing in on the findings that they found.
Have they put anything in on the system to monitor?
There's been
and
talks
compare-
about that.
and compare, like, you know, if a certain thing, drawing a certain amps,
Yep.
like they can clip it right onto the wire.
There are, as part of the incentive from Eversource, when the building was commissioned, there is sub meters that meter each of the sort of individual panels.
Okay.
So the gentleman from Eversource that was here last week was going to get the access to those so that they can monitor them in real time and start trending where the largest loads are, and then we can kind of narrow down what equipment is off of that. Because their initial walkthrough did not reveal anything that was a to So
Yeah, makes sense.
We've also had Joe Puggs, a central maintenance director. He's visited a couple times and he has some ideas about metering as well that we will be looking to explore once we find or don't find something with these reports. So we're working pretty diligently to try to identify exactly what's going on with it. I know the firefighters I'm trying to make sure the lights are off, and even though that's such a small draw.
The lights don't, it's something.
still,
bigger.
it's-
Bigger stuff that's drawing
Yeah,
out lights.
Yeah, we're trying to identify it, but we're trying to make sure that we're doing our part too, that, because obviously it's concerning to everybody. But the reports are forthcoming and we should have more information for you next month. And lastly, Lieutenant Taylor, after 30-something years of service, is retiring. His last shift is July 8th. In the morning of July 9th, when he gets off, we are having a little open house for about, from 8 to about 10 o'clock. Where any folks can come in and say goodbye to Lieutenant Taylor. So he's had a pretty long and distinguished career. He's been a tremendous asset to the department. He's our family liaison coordinator, which is a very tall role that we will need to fill. He is one of our fire investigators. And he was one of the guys that you would call if you needed something done. So we are going to miss Lieutenant Taylor. We are happy for him to get to that point in his career where he can relax a little bit. So
Congratulations to him. I'm sure some of us will pop in.
we'll send that on.
Any comments or questions from commissioners before I ask?
Monthly, all of them.
You'll get that. You can get that to us. They can get that to us later. We just need to put it together for this month.
Steady. I don't have the numbers, but it's pretty regular. It's pretty steady. It's what we've been doing.
I was just looking at your
Oh, yeah. I get it.
agenda. Advance.
I'm sure I speak for all the commissioners that we, please pass along our thoughts and prayers to John's family. And I'm sure not all of us, some of us will be there tonight. Where we can make it. So if you could pass that along from the Public Safety Commission. And so just to feel, I know you don't have the stats, but we're at the end of the month, which means we're at the end of the year.
Yep.
So what's your take on overtime? Do we look like we're?
I
Okay.
can't speak to the overtime issue. I can tell you that with bottom line, we're initial projections is we're okay.
Okay. Good to know.
Overtime is
Budget wise, initial projections, we're doing okay.
overall budget. We see, I think we're projected to be right where we're supposed to be.
Well, thank you for everything. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you so much. You guys can get. We'll invite dispatch. All by yourself today? Introduce yourself to the Zoom folks.
I am Cindy Hunter. I'm the dispatch supervisor for Police and Fire Department. I would just like to say, on behalf of myself and dispatch, we certainly send our thoughts and prayers to the captain from the fire department. I'll be having good thoughts for him for sure. He's definitely one of my go-to people for questions and advice. So for calls, dispatch put in 3,321 calls last month into the CAD. We had in and out for 911, we had 2,155 calls. Our per diems covered 114 hours for us in the month of May. So that's certainly, again, we are very appreciative of them. They definitely take some of the load off of the full-time dispatchers. I mean, we still have plenty of overtime, but I mean, they definitely step up. So we appreciate all of them.
It's a little down from last month.
It is a little bit down. We have one girl who was finishing some retraining last month. So I expect that in July, she's going to be, or this month, excuse me. So she's going to be stepping up a little bit more next month. So I expect more for that. Unfortunately, we do have one out on maternity leave, right? Unfortunately for us, we have one on maternity leave, but fortunately for her. So we would just like to say congratulations to Becca and her husband on the new baby. Let's see, training for fiscal year 25. So dispatch completed 282 hours of combined training for our continuing education that we are required to take by the state. I do have actually, I'm going to give you a handout of the classes that were taken by dispatchers just so you get the feel of what we were doing over that year.
Thank you.
There's a handout there, I'll explain in a second as well.
Thank you.
The top sheet is the various classes that were taken by dispatchers over that year. You'll see some of the topics we've been covering. A lot of mental health-based training was taken in that time. So we're very happy and proud of the dispatchers for stepping up to get that training. As the chief has spoken in the past, that's definitely one of our higher, or I feel like the calls for that are definitely increasing. So that's important. Excuse me. The handout that I gave you is the outline for our training grant, which I just submitted to the state. That just gives you the what they require from us and what they give back in return to cover our training for the year. Excuse me. I would like to mention this past month that we were invited, myself and 2 other dispatchers were invited to Newton Street Elementary School. One of the students there was honored for, excuse me, her call in regards to a structure fire that happened at the beginning of May. Her name is Tiana. I think I can give her first name. She called in. She was a fantastic caller. She gave all the right information. She answered all of the dispatchers' questions. And so she was honored at their end of year get together at school. The fire department was there, the police department, we were there. Also, we're very proud of her. In regard, sort of, I think she was 8, I think, very well spoken. I was very impressed. So we gave her some gifts and some recognition. As an offshoot of that, I am going to work over the summer with several of our dispatchers, putting together a 911 education program for the elementary schools. We think that that's important. So we're going to be working over the summer to put that together. And we're going to put a presentation together. We will certainly present that to you as a board, and we'll present it to the schools as well. And hopefully that we can get that into the schools for next year.
Great.
Yeah, looking forward to that. That's really all I have. Chris is going to be happy that I kept it short.
How's your overtime?
Our overtime, it's coming into summer, obviously, so it is a little bit up. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I have been speaking to the chief about our budget, and he said that we are in good shape. I'm sure that he could speak better to the numbers for you if you need that. We are fortunate, we have several dispatchers who like the overtime, so there is not a lot of forces, fortunately. And we also have our vacation relief spot filled right now, so we're grateful for that. He does take a lot of the, he covers a lot of those shifts, so that will be good for July and August.
Have you been on the floor this month working?
I covered 48 hours in May.
This month?
Yes, and I've covered 40 hours so far this month. So I try to do my part as well. That's it. Oh, and one last thing. I am now officially out of the dispatcher union and into the supervisors union. So there was that change as well.
Great.
For me, so.
It's good, right?
Yeah, no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Any questions or?
Conflict of interest to stay in the dispatchers?
I think that probably would have caused a conflict at some point. Yeah, so there's been some changes. I can't take overtime anymore, but I cover shifts, so it's, yeah.
Any other comments, questions? Did you get any more information on the last month? You talked about the training, you know, for the dispatchers, medical training. Has there been any movement on that?
Actually, yes. So I had a Zoom call or a Zoom training demo yesterday with APCO. They presented their program. It's APCO, it's APCO. They are one of the leading companies for training for dispatchers. They offer a program, what we're looking for. I've also taken a demo with a company called Priority Dispatch. They are more well-known than APCO is. Priority Dispatch is asking for almost $100,000 to buy into the program. And then it would be about $3,000 a year maintenance after that. APCO is basically offering the same thing for about $30,000. And there is a training grant through the state, or excuse me, a grant through the state that we can apply for to cover the cost of that. So I'm going to be working hopefully with Alex Cooley from the fire department to get that grant taken care of, and see what happens with that. But we are pursuing that.
Great. Thanks for that update. Keep us updated on
Absolutely.
that, please. All right, thank you.
Sure, thank you.
All right, we'll ask the entire police department to step up.
They're just gonna have to move to the front row now. We're gonna stay,
I
we're gonna
prefer
stay in
you
secondary
folks
row.
move up
Yeah,
front.
but
They sit in the back.
they prefer to be front and center.
We'll call them up one by one for you.
Put the pressure on.
Who's ready?
Here's a special, yeah.
Did you see the-
Maybe.
Special picture, special on the back. I'll go check it now.
Oh, good stuff.
Hey, there's a lot of pages here this time.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
How can we help
This is
you?
this is a large panel.
Everyone gets getting bigger. Just for the Zoom folks, introduce yourself.
Chief Dodge, Greenfield Police. Chris Green, Greenfield Police.
Megan Cloutier, Greenfield, please.
Thank you. No, but they'll watch it, people will watch it 3-4 weeks from now and they wanna know who the folks are.
Yes.
All right, the floor is yours.
Why don't we get introductions out of the way first? I'll do the introduction to the new
Sure.
ones. James or Megan can do it, or
Megan do it.
Yeah, sure.
I'll come right up with you.
Here, I'll-
See some new
I'll
faces.
slide over one
Okay.
spot.
Flying over one, please.
See new faces-ish.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we
we,
doing? Slide over one spot. You can bring them up and.
yeah, I'd say so Alyssa Farnham, she can, she's our.
Don't be shy, come on up.
I'm not shy at all. She's our newest patrol officer, so she can tell you a little bit about herself, and she's been working about a week and a half now.
Excellent.
So there you go, Alyssa, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Floor is yours.
Well, what do you want to know? I know.
15 minutes.
Oh geez, I can't fill that much time. So yes, my name is Alyssa Farnham. I am new to the Greenfield Police Department. I've been doing policing for about 4 years, give or take. But this is my first big city and I'm super excited. It's been fun so far, so.
Excellent. And where did you come from? What department?
I was in Sunderland.
Okay, great.
Questions for Alyssa? Nothing?
Is there,
That's it?
I'm not done yet. Any questions or comments from commissioners before I ask?
No, I'm
Come
sure
on.
you'll cover it.
I
Can
was
we
gonna
ask,
ask where she came from, but.
can we ask about your experience in something? What were you doing?
I was a police officer in Sunderland as well. It was the majority of calls we dealt with were traffic calls, and like mental health. So definitely more variety of calls than ever dealing with here, but I look forward to it. The department's been great so far as far as walking me through calls I haven't dealt with before. So I look forward to it. I'm really excited.
And she was bridged, so she does not need to go to an academy, so now she just needs to complete her field training with us on the road. And we anticipate that to be, I think, what are we doing, 8 weeks-ish, somewhere around there.
On her, let's see.
Yeah, so.
29-ish.
Yeah, what is the anticipation is the middle of August, yeah, so
It'll be the middle of August.
the hope is that, you know, we've checked all the boxes, she's had enough exposure and feels comfortable enough to be on her own.
So
Hopefully the
you
middle
think
of
about 8
August.
weeks? So
Yeah, it's usually, typically that's about, for somebody that has some experience, right around
I
that.
can tell she has thick skin. You have to have thick skin in this department.
She met with them, so she
That's
chose.
right.
I still came, so.
I think it goes without saying that obviously. Our most recent retirement was Patty West. You know, we lost a female officer from the crew and it was excellent that we were able to replace Patty with another female officer, so.
Yes.
And that was just by virtue of our applicant pool, so. She was interviewed, she went through the whole process, passed with flying colors, and we're happy to have her on board, so, but that's just an added bonus that we're able to replace one great female officer with another.
And Patty can't stay away, she's been picking up some shifts, so she's still,
Yes.
she's
Oh,
still
yeah.
dropping a little bit of wisdom here and there, which is great. So, yeah.
Well, we welcome another female officer for sure.
Thank you.
And we look forward to it. There's lots of growth potential and there's a lot to do in Greenfield. So, you know, you'll observe and see different things and you might be interested in certain things and go for it. And you have a great crew, great set of mentors around you. So
That is for sure.
we appreciate it. We're happy to see you on the streets.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Congratulations. We don't need to approve you, but we congratulate you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
They had previously approved, yeah.
Thank you.
And then
If you
our,
haven't met the mayor, introduce yourself in the back to the mayor.
and then our newest business district officer is gonna be through the sheriff's office. This is Jake McClay.
Come on up.
He can
Take a seat.
introduce himself. I can tell you a little bit before that he was one of the first few sheriffs that came on once we started integrating with the sheriff's department, working patrol, and then he went inside when he got promoted, and so he's back in action, ready to work with Zoe and help out and get the sheriff's department out there in that aspect too, so. There you go.
Introduce yourself to the folks on Zoom and
All right, well, I'm Jake McClay. I've worked at the sheriff's office for a little bit over 12 years now. Guess I'm looking forward to being outside and not stuck behind the walls. It'd be nice to stretch my legs a little bit. Get to meet some of the people downtown.
it's great.
So he'll be, starts on the next
Next
Monday?
Monday.
Yeah, so he'll be partnered with Zoe for a bit, and then eventually he'll be on his own. They'll be working some overlapping hours, but you'll see Jake earlier in the morning. He's gonna be out there by 9.
Oh, that's great.
Just to get some stuff going earlier, and then there'll be, evening and weekend events that they'll be splitting some time with, so you'll be seeing a new face, and he's not gonna have to be in full garb here.
Yeah,
every day.
a little comfortable out there.
Exactly. So you're on the afternoon shift, right?
Yeah, so exactly,
So
so
you'll
like the
cross.
sergeant said, yeah, so I will be staying later, whereas Jake will be coming in earlier, so yeah.
That's great. I think it's great. The downtown presence has been such a great success. I hear from business folks all the time. Lots of people are so happy with it. So we welcome you, and the partnership between the sheriff's department is pretty awesome. So I've ridden with some of your partners, on some of the shifts, and great folks.
So I'll dovetail off that for the public is, we didn't know this was coming. So we promised in the FY 25 budget 2 downtown business district officers. Based on staffing, we could never make that happen. We never had enough people. We had to hold off in certain cases because we had some buyouts that we had to make, et cetera, et cetera. So once Sheriff Streeter took over, she quickly showed interest in joining what we're doing downtown. Again, Maria's been a big part of that. She knows what's going on down as well. So it is being received very well. I think the sheriff saw that it was being received as well as it was, and she asked, how do we get involved? So it's been a few months. We've been working on this process. They went through some applicants. Jake basically rose to the top of that eventually. And now we're eager to get them started. So I think what's going to end up happening is downtown Greenfield will ultimately see at least three people at various shifts, moving around and helping out with issues in the downtown area and much wider areas. We call them business district officer, but we kind of use them for
The visual downtown has always been a plus.
Yeah, they'll be there. Yep.
That's what the business is like.
And I told her, make sure his stuff is clearly showing as yours, it's the sheriff's department. Get credit where credit's due. And again, just jumping off of that, if you guys haven't seen the substation recently, take a look now. It's stunning. It looks absolutely stunning. The new sign will be on there tomorrow. They do work. They'll be blue bulbs. The people that we got involved in that are just amazing at aesthetics. And that now I'm impressed now. It is looking absolutely
What
fantastic.
that means is Jay Batinsky, he's got an eye. Jay is.
And the painter guys.
But if you wanna talk, make it
It's
look pretty
looking
on the
good.
inside, Jay's got it all covered.
Good on the inside and the outside. But it's looking really, really good. We anticipate we're now within a week or so of actually.
I don't believe it.
It's in the notes. Just saying. We're done with Chris promises.
Plumber and IT.
Yeah, we got an AC in there.
You said
put a
IT
fire
last
department
month.
Today, I think.
Yeah, no, they really can get in there. We got the bulbs up, now we're in business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
We
wait
have
for
like-
bulbs.
You have to have a massive, grand opening
We're
party.
not gonna want, no, we're
Yeah,
not.
those
We do not want anybody touching
Well,
it.
we can have 3 people.
I told you last time, it's
We're not even letting Maria.
tiniest, biggest project we've ever had in Greenfield.
The trash can goes outside the building, so nothing goes in there.
So, young man, I'll be working with you. We've never met. You're in for
A treat.
Right, I look forward to it.
oh, look at that space. What do you want to say, chief?
She actually has
Give
an office
medication a
close
chance.
by with stuff too. She'll show you around, yeah.
We'll get you squared away.
No, I'm excited about it. I think it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be a good
So we
collaboration.
can have people lined up at the July 4th parade.
Oh, yeah. We got a lot of stuff ready.
We appreciate it. It's nice to meet
You don't
you.
have a parade?
Welcome to the team.
No.
Thank you.
See you here. Oh, well.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
I was on
my way
just about when you started,
Right when I started.
That will finally.
yes.
I have one question. Where are you from?
I grew up in Greenfield. I live in Berniston now.
How old are you?
You can't ask that question.
Biographical.
I'm embarrassed now.
38 years old.
Don't embarrass them.
Why?
What are we working at right now?
You can embarrass them.
Yeah, I thought I knew him from school.
You're all set.
No, I mean, not going to school.
Yeah,
They'll
they'll just keep putting you
Looking
on.
forward to seeing you walk the
We
street.
have some of the same classes.
I think I remember.
So we'll transition to the notes. Good, yeah, cool.
Yes, I'm in charge.
Cool. All right. Well, I didn't choose that for May, but could say May. Calls handled. We were down 165 calls in the month of May. But the time spent on calls of service was up almost 500 hours.
Wow,
So, yeah,
that is a big increase.
there's a
in
more
hours.
in-depth crime going on, so. Yeah, that was a big jump.
Do those hours reflect this, the team, the task force, the special?
The narcotics task force, that
No,
one,
you're the, your special. Yeah,
they can. They can.
do those hours reflect their time?
Yeah.
When you go out?
Yeah, our people, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like on the call outs we've had?
Yeah, the task force,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's all part of it,
Okay,
yes. Yeah.
okay.
Downtown, we were down 37 calls. And that's mostly Zoe still being proactive down there. And now we're gonna triple that up. We'll double it up quickly, but triple is the goal. And before we jump into any other numbers, anything happening downtown?
Anything happening downtown?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this city is the place to be,
I have
let me tell you.
whole notes about all that.
Yeah.
You have some?
Yeah.
You usually,
I'm waiting for them to be done. I'm on the bottom of the barrel here.
Right, well, on the case, she's not. Incident reports, we're up 30. Accidents, we're up 7. Arrests were up 5. And citations were down 80. We still have that grant going on, the highway safety grant, but just the calls of service are taking a little bit longer for some of the stuff we're doing, so that
what was the theme for May?
was the what?
The theme,
Speed enforcement.
speed enforcement?
So May and June are speed enforcement, and in July will be OUI enforcement.
Don't tell me.
I got you.
Who's laughing?
It's great to have a theme for when you pull folks over. I'd actually like to see more like citations money wise, but
You will.
There actually are.
We've talked about
There
this.
is more, there are a small percent more money written, not a large percent, but the fact that they're making the stops and educating the public is.
only for speeding, I have to be on record. I don't only want to see it for folks that are excessively speeding. I don't want to get a million phone calls this month.
Well, we should have 2 traffic signs functional. That grant that was applied for and received. That was it, well. When this highway safety grant started, the signs are going up where River Street and.
Yeah, so the new traffic signs, one's going up on Barton and one's going on River. We had a snafu, the person that's installing the poles got hit with a bad bout of poison ivy, so they're just not up yet. But hopefully next week, those will be all set, they're programmed, ready to go. And then we just submitted another grant, hoping to get 2 more traffic signs, which if we do get the grant, we'll have those ready to go and pick out some places. I think we want to put a second one up on Barton Road. And then we're discussing a couple other areas in Greenfield that it would be worthwhile.
So we reapplied for the same grant that gave us this and all the traffic enforcement over time. So the goal is, like the sergeant said, to get speed signs, but we're also looking for, you can get other equipment. So like portable breath tests, ours are older and kind of out of date. So we put in as part of our grant to get new versions of that. So it'll be the same grant, just a couple different asks, in the end, but it's a good grant. And while we're talking about grants, We just applied for the burn grant, and that's kind of a,
Engine 2, respond to CO alarm at 40 Burnham Road.
my original goal was to add another camera system to the pocket park down the Main Street area and cover that area. But due to the conduits that run to all those, it wasn't gonna happen. It wasn't gonna happen. They need to run a new conduit because of all the other stuff that's stuck inside those. So I went a different route. So with the expansion of the downtown and stuff, I applied for radios, or portable radios, which are about $8,000 a piece. So I'm gonna try for about half dozen of those radios. I applied for it and just waiting to hear back from the grant, so.
And what is the grant called?
The burn grant.
Burn, okay.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
And just to add to that, radios were one of my requests on capital that didn't pass, so we're trying to make up for it through this grant, so it won't come from the taxpayer, well, Greenfield taxpayers, it'll come from grants. It's not as many as we were asking for, but grants capped at 40,000, so we're gonna try to get as close to $40,000 worth of radios as we can get.
And it came to within a couple of thousand of that 40 for the radios that's how many I could stuff into that window.
I think over the last 6 or 8 months, I know I'm pleased. I've been hearing the word grant quite a lot between the departments, all 3 departments. So that's pretty awesome that all 3 departments just keep going for grants. So that's like perfect. So great job. What's the speeding vibe been over the springtime in general? It's been.
How's Country Club looking? You good?
There's been no drag racing.
They slow down with the dummy car.
There's been no drag racing, but just in general, I mean, is it, I haven't got, I usually get emails and.
Complaints will always come in, but they're not as much as we've seen at times in the past, I think.
I think if you drove a graph of the most written citation right now, it's car inspections. The fact that they're lapsing or whatever, it's a, like every time, because I have to write the activity for the grant. So I have to look at each citation and see, is it money, was it this, was it that,
Folks just forgetting that they to register to get
a lot
their
of
car
inspections. It's a big chunk of
They're just
inspections.
not passing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can't afford to fix their cars, so then they know it's gonna fail, so they don't bring it to get inspected. So when you want all these money sites. Dave.
Just for speeding, excessive speeding.
I haven't seen any money for the inspections, I don't think so, but there is a heart component here,
Yeah,
you can't fix your car, then how can you pay, there's understanding going on.
I get it.
There is some monetary ones for some speeds, but if you saw the speeds, you'd be like, yeah, I get that,
No, that's what I mean. If we continue really out of the normal range or the okay range for, reckless speeding is what I'm saying.
It's the not okay range that I've seen the monetary.
Like the drag racing on Country Club.
Little red there.
I've seen several of your sites.
Yeah.
Manned,
Like being cut
no, manned.
and
In other words, places where you placed an officer
oh, yeah,
in a car, and it's great.
yeah, no, it
I'm
is.
not gonna state where they are, I'm not gonna give away the secrets, because people will find out soon enough if they do the speeding. But they've been placed well and thought out well. Certain places, people coming over a hill. So, makes a difference.
We try to follow the complaints as much as we can, but again, you only got 3-4 people out there, and you can't hit every street every day, just can't do it, but we try, we follow it, we follow the data and do what we can. We'll move to special reports, yeah, good with stats, Stat Masterson. Officer movement, as indicated, Officer Farnham started their training, Officer Lavin is closing in on completing his. Will then go out on solo patrol. Did a couple little things to shore up in his and then be done. Our most recent
what was going to be our most recent hire failed the entrance test to the academy. So that person will not be going in the July
Really?
academy. Yeah,
The one we improved?
there you have it. So that'll be delayed. Hopefully, there's an academy that Cindy's happy about that. But there's an academy the following month that we're going to move through our applicants and hopefully get one into that. So that's in Boylston. So Holyoke starts in July, that's gone. They closed the door, that was it. So we have to move fast and hopefully we can get a backup candidate into Boylston, which is, it's somewhat equidistant. It's just one's east and one's south.
Are you
Boylston's a pretty
are you
good campus.
picking from the group that we interviewed?
We are, yep. Yeah, we can talk more about that. We're not down to the actual candidate, but we're working on that now, so I'll figure it out.
Are you involved?
Inadvertently, yes.
It was her fault.
I've been, yes, 100% my fault. I've been off for a couple days, so some of this was happening in my time off.
Okay, let's update it, please, on that.
So yeah, we'll be moving on that. Substation, I didn't make this, Chris did, and it says almost done, I promise. Take a look. And it does look good.
Until it opens.
In about a year.
Literally in a week, I think in a week, I've said this a few times, but in about a week. Please come around the PD and the substation, because our report stations inside. The cabinets are there, they're gonna be installed in the next couple days. Our inside's gonna be totally different. It's looking good, so we wanna see you there, we want you to check that out. He made a note here next to cruisers. That was NA, and I'm saying it's not NA, they're literally dying one by one. So car 11 was just found to have a massive knock in the engine, that's never good. It's now at Florida Greenfield, probably for them to tell us that's dead. So we're down only a few cars per shift, we can't wait to get our 3 new cars in, it
Is
couldn't
the
come
dates for
soon
these?
enough. September.
September, that's when they'll be outfitted and ready to go?
Yeah.
Well, they'll hopefully in by September, outfitted.
That's another month?
Hopefully it happens all in the same time period, but no
Yeah,
promises
we
on
can't
that.
get those 3
That
fast.
puts Mark car 9 dead. That blows oil everywhere. That's gonna be one that we're trading towards one of the new ones, car 11. My fingers crossed, but it's not looking good right now. So if that blew a rod bearing, we're done. We don't have the money to put a new motor into that car. We'll see. And that's a hybrid, which would be a lot of money. Chris talked about the pocket park a little bit. We're working on an alternative method of putting a camera there. So one major gap in our camera coverage is that pocket park. He basically, him and Lieutenant Batinsky basically came up with a solution to that, and we're working on that now. Hopefully in the not too distant future, we'll be able to install something there that's cellular and solar. So the stuffed conduits will not pose an issue for us. We just had to make sure with central maintenance in the town that we're not taking up space on any pole that they need. So, and I think we're good with that.
They're all good.
One thing I want to talk about, because I've seen a lot of criticism and I wanted to bring a little clarity to it, is in a not very, very long span of time, we've had 3 special response team deployments, as you guys are aware.
Yes.
So the thing about them is that they are in fact a multi-agency response. There is police, there is fire, EMT, many different agencies all coming together to go at a single mission, right? And I stand back, we watch, we supervise, we watch these things. And the thing that we talk about throughout the entirety of these things is the fact that time is on our side. Let's be patient. We don't need to move fast here. And regardless of what happens, we get pounded on by people, residents, because of we look like stormtroopers or soldiers and things of that nature. What I want to say to the public is, in these 3 incidents, all of which were reportedly individuals with guns, long guns, rifles, pistols, we are never going to send officers to those things unsafely. So we're not gonna ever make them look less soldier-ish, I guess. And if these officers were these people's sons or daughters, they'd probably be happy to know they're in safety equipment. Right? They're not going in normal uniforms to these calls. They have helmets, yep. They have eyewear, they have ballistic panels all over them. It's because they don't want to get shot and killed. That's why we do that. And again, these uniforms don't come with teddy bears on them. They don't come with clouds and things like that. These are ballistic and soldier-like uniforms so that they don't get killed by a shotgun. We get a ton of criticism on that. I take it personal every single time. And what I'm trying to remind people is every single time that we have gone out, zero people have gotten hurt. None have gotten hurt. People have complained about drones over their house and that we didn't get to them in time. When you have 2 or 3 people responding to one of these incidents, they can't run in a 3-mile block door to door to tell everybody we're coming. It's just not going to be priority one. So again, I appreciate everybody who understands and is patient with what's going on, but I absolutely will push to keep these guys dressed and these men and women dressed in the way they're dressed. They have to. I don't want them getting shot when they're not prepared. We criticize ourselves because we showed up at one and didn't have a vest on. So the last one, I wasn't sure I had a vest on, walking around with a vest on. So again, if the officers, and there's probably, considering the number of organizations involved in these, being police, fire, EMS, there's probably like 3 degrees of separation between the complainers and someone on these teams. If everybody took that into account and said, oh, that's my cousin's daughter or my brother's son, they might think differently about the fact that they're dressing safely, because it's just dressing safely. That's what it is. So for the public, if we have an SRT call out involving people holding themselves at bay with a gun, they're going to show up looking exactly like they've seen a couple times. We're not going to go the other way to appease people and make our officers unsafe and can't do that. So I just want to be real about that. It makes me mad every time I hear people are putting their own little editorials in that I can't believe they showed up like this and everybody was freaked out, and we've offered it out there. Sign up for the reverse 911. You'll be notified. But again, it happened in Turner's, and then we get pounded on by people in Turner's, or we get pounded on by people in Greenfield, and we can't change that. So I hope you guys understand that. I hope the panel understands that. We're going to keep sending these people there. So you got any questions on those?
I did have a comment. It upsets me too. I think what people need to understand is we demonstrate through all of your work that we put a lot of effort in this community into preventing crime, building community, ensuring that the police are approachable. And that gets lost in those letters. And so if you're in my kitchen when I see one, same response. You know, where's the cop when I need one? And I know it's a delicate issue, but what you're saying is 100% true. It has to happen the way it has to happen. And that does not mean that the officers from multi-agencies, which by the way is what we want. We want a multifaceted, diverse response. Right? It's not, and I feel like some of those letters are comparing it almost to things that we see going on in other countries that run police states. And it's upsetting. So you have my vote of support, and I'll continue to talk to people that I need about that, because I think that we've established a great deal of diversity of attitude, a great deal of diversity of behavior in terms of how we approach our citizens. And I'm a fan of local policing. And that's what it is. So thanks for.
There's a lot of really good people on these teams. We don't want to get hurt. We don't do things based on any particular administration. This is training that's been going on for decades. Right. This isn't, so we're nobody's puppet. We do it because it's the right way to do it. So, no more questions? You got any more questions?
I have a couple of things. You go ahead.
I wanted to comment that we're a safety commission. And you're working safe, so that's what we want.
For everybody.
That's what I'm saying,
It's for
for the
everybody.
citizens and for the
That's
police
exactly-
officers and.
And in
Very
fact, just to
important.
add to that is the suspects or defendants or arrestees, whatever you want to call them, in each one of these instances was taken directly to the hospital. So I can assure you, and for those that have been in law enforcement 20 years ago, they would not have been taken straight to a hospital. In every instance, we have thought about the person we're arresting just as much as the officer standing beside us. And that person, if there was any injuries, it wasn't because of us. It was because of what we walked into. And they needed help with that. So again, 0 injuries. Yeah, doesn't look pretty, but police work doesn't always look pretty.
So a couple things. I really appreciate what Commissioner Illinois said last week about you commented on the task force.
Is that a meeting without us last week?
No, you were all here. You might just not have listened to what he said. Possibly he's stuck in.
He's not.
But he said that he said that he said that there's multifaceted. Policing is a multifaceted thing.
You said that
And this,
today,
and,
not
and this
last
is just one part of it. But I think what is also important to consider is, and you know, all departments are gonna get complaints.
Fire don't.
They get some complaints. But my point is that, you know, this is a new initiative that you're taking. And these folks have trained for quite a long time. The first out of the 3 incidents was really the first one that you've been deployed to, correct? There's been three
Deployed to know this year, yes.
this year.
Yes.
So, I mean, you're out on the street, people are starting to see you. You know, it's gonna take some time. You're gonna get complaints, you're gonna get concerns. People aren't used to seeing, you know, this large group. I mean, I was there for the first one this year. And, you know, it's a scene. You know, and you're right, you did everything right. The point is that nobody got hurt, no injuries. You took your time. Time is on your side when it comes to these things. And I think we just need to educate people. I mean, I can see why people have concern driving down the road and all of a sudden seeing 25 people, you know, dressed the way they're dressed. You have to admit that some people can be, oh, what the heck is going on? Or it could be a little bit shocked. Some people are just gonna complain to complain. We know that, right? Some people just don't like the police because they just don't like the police, period. But, you know, this is, as time goes on and they see the good work that you're doing with this task force, I think the majority of things are gonna change and people are gonna really appreciate it. It just takes time. People aren't used to seeing a group like that. But what I witnessed on Elm Street was only care, professionalism. I mean, you guys could have stormed into that building the first 5 seconds that you got there, period, right? I mean, the officers could have done that without even calling you up and saying, you know, so, I mean, you took your time, there's a lot of people, but you cared, and the bottom line is that 3 incidents, nobody got hurt. So people are gonna just have to get used to it. And, you know, I back it. I can see the goodness out of it and the hard work that the task force does. And if my son or daughter was on the task force, I wanted to be wearing what they're wearing, period. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is. You're doing your job. So thank you. Any other comments?
Well, I'm sitting right here thinking about the way it was, because we had to beg the chief to get an SRT team together. Sergeant Odom, Pete Scarrett. And I see what's happening now in the way we just stormed it, you know. It was like anyone as a matter of fact, my ex-husband was part of the SRT team with myself. And one time it felt like one of us we would have left our children, you know, without parents. So I'm sorry to sit here and start thinking about that and how.
It's good to bring a reality.
How much.
It's scary out there. We've
Yes.
all done entries and you don't know what's on the other side.
Not only that, but the folks that are around you that just wanna come and see it. You know, did you wear a vest? Don't answer that question. When you went to that, you know, let's don't get near it unless you are safe.
On a positive note, I do realize the fire department did actually get complained about because they were on these. So they do get complained about. That's a good
The
thing.
collective you. I think you bring up a great
Should that be
point,
positive?
though, about the perspective. I think people need to remember that perspective is everything.
Mhm.
And just because, you know, their perspective or their background, you know, they react one way does not mean it's the intention of
Right.
the system. And, you know, you're doing an amazing job. I'm really proud as a, you know, lifetime, well, resident sort of for 20 years was away, but, you know, grew up here, raised here, and, you know, really proud of all the work that all of the groups are doing.
There's a lot, and then again, those that have been there will see the level of professionalism amongst that group that's responding is astounding. It's astounding. It is all business when you get there. And they listen, it's quiet, they do the missions that they're given.
And that's what we want.
And everybody shows up. Like I said, I think the collaboration between, I'm sure Maria can attest to this, is collaboration between police and fire was never really well. Now we're working right now to have our drone team is gonna be one single collaborative drone team. They're gonna work together and train together and put their resources. They're there every time. So we might as well start doing this stuff together. So a lot of really positive things are happening. And we got some really, really great team members. We might actually take advantage of that in some of our future new hires, which is good. So that'll help too and get us around having to pay for academies there. We're actually working with one right now that could be a prospective new hire. He's a current SRT team member, but he's full-time military and he's got to go through his contract. So there's a lot of pluses that we get out of this. Like I said, I get it. It doesn't always look pretty, but it's just one job that we can't always look pretty. Sometimes it's scary. But you know, what I try to tell people all the time is, I know people don't want to talk about it, but there are actually bad people among us. There are bad people and we go and talk to them and we have to go deal with that. So I want them to go there and do it safely.
Everybody wants to go home.
But just to expand a little bit, the team on these incidents, that was a high level threat call. But the team is not just that. It's a special response team for any situation. It could be a missing hiker. It could be anything, a storm. You need people immediately when a microburst happens, you need to close stuff off. Our team trains in a dozen different disciplines. It's not just that, you know, the person has a weapon and this is it. So that it's not always that. So there's a lot of
I
a
think
lot of
that-
more helpful parts of it
Yeah.
too, you know, additional helpful parts.
And I think educating, when you have coffee with people, coffee with the town folks, or you're at an event, it's educating people on what that actual task, if we're gonna have a task force, and they're gonna be out on the street, we just need to educate people. This is what, it's not just, you know, a call where someone has a gun or there's violence. It's what you said, it's a storm or a missing person. We just have to continually educate people on what the value of that task force. And I think that's what it comes down to, is just educating.
The city needed help one year doing some stuff and they used the team to get that mission done too. So it's a variety of stuff. It's not just.
Who makes the call for the task force to gather and go out on a call? Who makes that call?
Right now, it used to be me. Now it goes through Jay Patinsky, so the call goes to him, he vets it out, and if he thinks it's worthy, he calls me, and then that's when the green light goes for the whole team to get activated. If I'm not around, he has the absolute authority to make that happen too, but usually it's him, me, and then.
They usually
So
tell
it's a
me
good
when it's done.
process.
Yeah, so only the professionalism thing, yeah, we wait.
Thank you. Thank you for the comments and the update. Want to move on?
Yeah. We're on a budget report.
Is it still us?
And he
Yes.
does a double.
I haven't even started yet. We're gonna be here
Chris
till
does a
9.
double adverb, but strongly likely to finish the year on budget. right now, we're still in the black, so you got, anything can happen in 5 days. But we're looking good budget wise.
That includes the overtime?
Mayor, I promise
Yes.
we'll be returning some money.
That includes the overtime?
Yeah, oh yeah, our overtime was really good this year.
Yeah, good.
We were having some discussions, one thing we're having discussions with the union about right now is pay for. Gonna get into particulars, but pay for per diems, which you know it as per diems, we call them reserve officers. We're discussing that, trying to make that more attractive. Obviously, every time a reserve officer works, rather than a full-time on overtime, we're saving a ton of money. So, if the rate is right, we may just attract full-timers from other agencies to cover shifts in Greenfield, just for the sake of wanting to work in a different place time to time, so. The city, the benefit to the city is they don't have to pay fringe, they don't have to pay all the other medical, all the benefits, and et cetera. You pay them a per diem rate, and that's it. So you give them a little bit more per hour and hopefully attract them more often and just gives you a bigger team. Right now, we only have 3, 4 reserves, maybe. Yeah, that are actually handling, that are actually covering calls, 3, maybe. Yeah, so to have more, it's the same theory that we try to push with dispatch is having some per diems, having some reserves. It's good. Save us money. Full response activity, total calls, co-response, again, this is still with one person. That changed just recently. Is 25 calls, 0 hospitalizations, 4 section 12s, 3 ED diversions, no injuries and no arrests or summonses. Second full-timer just started?
Yeah, so Christina just started on Monday. She's our new correspondent through CSO.
What's your full name? You know?
Christina, I'm gonna butcher her last name, it begins with a B. My hope is that she'll be here at our next meeting.
Yeah, great.
She is pregnant, so she started originally in the agency at CSO doing some observations in there, and now she is our second corresponder who will be on her own the end of June. Or excuse me, the end of, so next week, she'll start being on her own with officers, obviously. And then Caitlin is returning on August 18th. She was our first co-responder. She's the one that's also in charge of them. So the hope is that for a little while, we're gonna have 3 people. And then when Christina goes out on maternity, we'll be back to Caitlin and Catherine.
Yep.
It's a lot of Catherine, Caitlin, Christina's. We're really just sticking with that.
That's cool, right?
But no, it's been great. So far things are she's transitioning pretty well. So that'll be a good adjustment, good add. Is that your whole packet? All right, good. I'm going because I got a list and I talk fast and we got things to talk about.
First though, what's the word with the state budgeting for
Haven't heard
being
yet.
cut or?
Well, we just had the Western Mass Chiefs today, and Chief Pachurik believes where we were at 18, and then they were gonna cut it to like 6. Now their request is 21.2. So it looks like it'll probably be okay. What they're going to do is, because there's a delay in it, they're going to issue grants in 75-day increments until they know. So basically, because the programs are starting on the beginning of the fiscal year, but the money hasn't been decided yet. So they're confident there'll be some, so they can't go for a full year's allotment right now. So you're not gonna see any changes. We're in a good standing, at least for the next 75 days. So then whatever happens.
Okay. All right, keep us posted on that, please. We're ready.
All right, so I'm talking sunshines and rainbows. These are the things that we've done over the last month since we've seen you. We had some cool visits with our comfort dogs. We partnered with Montague's Canine Mac, went to a couple schools, and we also showcased our new coloring book, which was something that Matt Llewellyn helped build. Yeah, well, they're coveted. You're a little bit above the age in which, but I might be able to show you one.
For our officers when they have downtime.
Yeah, so we also were present at the Juneteenth celebration over the weekend. Maria was honored. I don't know if you guys know that, but it was a pretty cool thing to see. And our agency was also honored or recognized as a supporter for the last 4 years. This Friday, there is a large event happening at GCC. It's put on by the Opioid Task Force, the Connect Block Party. They are showcasing the fact that they now have a mobile unit. You'll see our SOV members of our department there. That's from 10 to 2 and it's open to the public.
Sheriff is donating 100 whoopie pies.
That's right. we did
First come,
hear
first
that.
served,
So
so.
Dave, you gotta bake something and
Just
just
like
put it
that,
on our
Chris,
table,
you better
okay?
get there early.
This Sunday, we were asked to attend, this coming Sunday, the annual picnic for the Blessed Trinity Parish. So there'll be some members of our department up there. They do kind of like a catch a truck thing with the kids. We have coffee with a cop scheduled for July 7th at 9 a.m. at the library. You guys are all welcome to come. I hope to see you there. That way we can kind of talk about some stuff with people if they have questions. July 7th at 9 a.m. at the library. Dave, do you want to make cookies for me?
You
I'm
want me to
just
make
saying,
those?
I would love to
I'll
have
make
cookies.
those cookies. for you,
Yeah, those
special
were good.
cookies.
We need
Yeah.
more coffee.
As long
Yeah.
as the chief
All
doesn't.
right, good to know.
I think
I will
about 50 of them.
Frog shaped cookies.
10:30?
Right.
Oh, 9:30, excuse me, 9:30. I misspoke. I was like, oh, man.
I'll make the cookies.
So 9:30 on the 7th, that was my apologies. Later that week, NOM School is hosting like a summer camp. They're coming to our agency to do a tour, to meet with some officers, ask some questions, and kind of get to know a little bit about like what we do in the community and public safety and all that. We have a tentative substation reveal to the Greenfield Business Association on July 21st with Hannah. So we're plan is to have our meeting where we can then come down and show that and talk a little bit about what our plans are with Jake and Zoe and how that can work with the businesses. Another thing that I don't know how much you guys have been talked to about the Franklin County Cadet Program. That's usually what Haskins talks a lot about, but I was really immersed in it this past weekend at Green River Fest. We are talking about how the Sunderland Public Safety fair that happens usually in the fall, they're taking over that program starting in 2026. So that's going to be happening at the Greenfield Fairgrounds in 2026, and we'll be working with that. So that's pretty cool. We're kind of making it into a bigger family event where there's going to be vendors, crafters, potentially some beer vendors as well. So kind of making, there's a lot, this guy perked right up. So there's a lot of things. We already nailed down the date for 2026 with Mike Nelson up at the fair, but what I'm going on with that is to let you know that they're also, the Cadet Academy is happening at Westfield State in July. And on July 24th, the cadets are hosting essentially their own thing that's happening at Westfield State University. So we'll be having a whole bunch of people up there, our drone team, hopefully an SRT van, all that kind of stuff is happening. So that'll be, I think.
To add to that, for the public, they've created a new website specifically for that Connect program. And one of the things they wanted to make sure people saw was the quick donation tab that they could click on. It really is dependent on funding. Volunteer
Sponsors, donations,
sponsorship.
all that
So,
kind of stuff.
all joking aside, we do want to get that out there that they do have their new website. I think they're still tweaking it. They were saying today.
Yeah.
Couple little tweaks left. It's done very well, but honestly, you can click on and donate the money to it if you wish. But
So they've been
each
great.
academy, this Westfield Academy is amazing. We went to it last year. It is well run, but it costs about $700 a can. So there's a lot of money that's required to keep this going. So.
But I got to work with some of them at the Green River Fest. They're great kids.
Yeah,
Really, there's
I've met
some
them.
really amazing things that are being done. So that was really cool to be part of that. I haven't been part of it much before, so that was really neat. So that's pretty much the events that are coming up, but I did want to mention a couple of things. Matt and K9 Frank, we have some visits coming up for the local summer camps. We've tentatively been talking about doing like a popsicles at the park, like a pop-up where officers on shift show up and they've got, a box of popsicles to give out to kids, and working kind of with our 3 to 11 shift too. It's summertime, there's a lot of people out, and we want to have some better positive interactions that aren't just us responding to calls. So that's in the works right now. And then a couple of things that were brought to my attention. Tim Cooley, who's part of the Northwestern District Attorney's Task Force, he's our narcotics detective. He's been getting a lot of accolades behind the scenes, things that we don't necessarily know about. So he's really been working super hard with them. And then the other thing I wanted to recognize, I'm so glad that she's here, is Zoe has been doing the same downtown. Like you said, it has been speaking volumes. She's been spending time looking at videos and handling issues at the library, like all of those things, which I'm sure she could.
She
fill you a
tells
little
me all
bit.
the time she's doing a really good job.
But I can't tell you the amount of people that have come up and spoke specifically about Zoe, their interactions, where they're like, I was having a bad day, she made everything better, like just a lot of, so there's a lot of things that are happening that a lot of people can learn from Zoe and what's been going on. So hopefully Jake's gonna be walking right in those steps and we'll be saying the same things about him pretty quick, so. But I think that's all I have. I had a whole list and I got it done real quick. So any questions? Yeah, that's what I do.
May, do you have a question?
No, but I wanted to say one.
Come on up. You're invited up.
Please do.
Just have her introduce herself. Bill.
What did you
You.
think? Oh, what's up?
Trump.
It was nice to see you.
Take a seat and join us.
I just wanted to, I was listening to all of them, so the announcements, and I said, we had the cooling center, we had keeping people safe. The cooling center was open 3 nights, we just announced that, but I wanted to say thank you to, police and fire. We had a meeting this week about the warming center. We were open 49 nights last year, and just on the coldest nights, and the fire chief would make the call for whether or not we were gonna be open. And it would be open from 7 at night till 7 in the morning, and a lot of people sitting in this room took shifts and volunteered. We were able with grant money to, to pay one person, so we're planning on doing that again. We'll have, hopefully a volunteer, and then either a fireman.
That works.
Fire person or police, to be the second person. But the collaboration on that was marvelous between the two groups.
We call them
And-
nozzle heads.
Okay, and so I just
Don't
wanted you
say
to
it.
know that, and that we'll be looking for more grant funding again, and that, together these folks work to keep people from freezing to death, which is another one.
Wait, so the cooling center was open this week?
Yeah,
For a few days? It was at the
just
same.
announced that we announced that it was open, so the library and the senior center.
Okay,
Library was
library and
open
senior
Monday,
center.
Tuesday, and
I
Wednesday
didn't know where they.
until 8. Yeah, that was a good point. And then we also made a plan that if we had this ungodly hot weather again, I spoke with Hope, and I thought we'll open up this senior center longer, and we'll again be looking for volunteers. But I thought you should all know that.
Yes.
Maria
sure.
came and volunteered. I'm sure I might see, I'll put your names on the list if you'd ever care to come
Absolutely.
and help us. It's a lot of fun, and I get to meet, more of the police officers and because I took a couple of shifts myself, and it was wonderful, but a lot
You
of.
said you really like the 3A to 7A
Yeah,
part.
that's my least favorite. I'll do 7 at night till 3 in the morning, but that last
That you'll
4
do
hours.
every 3
When the
days.
cooling center is open, like I'm sure with cooling, it's gonna go, I mean, coldness is pretty steady, but cooling, it's gonna go up and down. Is it posted on the city
So
site?
we put it, and that's another thing, we put it on the city website, and I think you probably put it on.
Actually, no, I was
Greenfield.
gonna ask, can you copy that onto ours?
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good idea, because it's definitely gonna be kind of up and down in the
So,
summer.
and we should put that on the police website,
will
because that's one
share
of the
it right
most read. I don't know how they tell those things, how many people are looking at a website. It's one of
that's
the
on the
most
site.
popular websites to be looking at, the police
Yeah.
website.
think it's a great idea.
CCTV.
Yeah,
It's a
so
bit-
anyways, I just wanted you to know that and to know that that was another.
No, that's
keeping
excellent.
People safe and the wonderful collaboration we have.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
That's it, you wanna run now?
I'm gonna go
Have
say
a
hi to you as well. Haven't met you.
All right, any more updates? Is that it for updates?
Yeah.
I think I said it all, so.
We gotta, we make sure we gotta, you guys, who's gonna join, we're gonna
Yeah.
be starting to line up at John's house
Yeah.
here pretty soon.
The only thing I would like to say as a commissioner is I am just really thrilled that the downtown calls are being decreased. It's obviously because of you and you're gonna be joining, and it's just a positive thing. I mean, people get to know you. It's like the task force. Education, get to know what they do, what you do. And I mean, seeing the calls decrease is like the proof in the pudding. So thank you for that. It shows.
I mean, we all know these things ebb and flow, right? So eventually it'll probably go up again,
It
just
might,
depending on the moods, but I think it is like reflecting the impact that diversity in the police department and being present and all that has, and it feels true just being downtown, and it's nice to see the numbers reflected as well.
Absolutely. And yeah, they will fluctuate. I mean, that's just natural. But I mean, I think overall, it's just such a positive thing. So
So
it's great. Thank you for all the program to all of you.
I do have kudos to Zoe, excuse me. We had an incident there were a couple of incidents at Whitney Hill. One of the vendors asked me who I should call. I mean, who she should call, and I said, Zoe. And Zoe followed through, spent a lot of extra time, identified the person, and today the person
Did you know? Did you know?
pleaded guilty.
Doing a great job.
And
Oh,
so.
there's an
from
actual
now on-
crime one, okay.
Oh.
Because we found the other one for her.
Yeah.
So-
That was me.
The word, the word is,
I talked to him.
it's working.
Didn't see him. Didn't see him. Chris.
So this is feeling supported.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks for being local.
there's a little bit of an event happening, so I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So,
A second,
I'll second.
and all in favor. Thank you, everyone, and I have to shut the recording off.
All right, so I'll see you Tuesday the 9th, or whatever that day, 7 at 9:30. We'll look at it. I'll text you, David.
To have your IDs and stuff.
Stop them. Good to meet you. Not many chiefs would do that.
They did that all.
Picture taken.
Did my-
And send it to you.
Need your picture, and I'm trying to work with one on my phone for.
Where's it?
Library.
So how are we gonna
I don't know.
say that?
Good.
And then just give her a copy.